3, 2,
Alrighty.
1, go.
Hello, this is Dr. Ayleen, and this is Medicine Walk.
Okay, I'm gonna check.
And for those of you who are already on the Facebook live stream, welcome. For those of you who are joining us on YouTube, welcome. This is something that we haven't tried yet. So right now I am simultaneously broadcasting both on Facebook live stream and on YouTube live stream. And one of the things that we had talked about was the fact that we were having, there were some lag issues, and I apologize for last week. Then we tried going on to YouTube, and there was some pixelation issues, and then there was the audio issue we had. So that's an aspect of this whole live stream journey that we're on, is that when something mucks up, it mucks up for everybody. So what we're going to do is, if this works, if this experiment works, what we're going to do is we're going to be doing this each week, and this way we can be live on both. And that means the best part of that is that I can actually see, and I apologize for any glare of my glasses, but I can actually see comments, and I can respond to comments that are going on right at that moment. So thank you for joining us. And it is, very much a journey with this, and being on YouTube now, and the fact that I had an internet radio program for 5 years, and that was a lot of fun, and it was really neat to interact with people in different parts of the world. And at the same time, there was something that was lacking, something that I really felt I wasn't able to connect. So anyway, thank you for taking this journey with me. And in fact, today's discussion is going to be the joy of the journey. And when we think about the things that we want to achieve and the things that we worked for, whether it's graduating with a degree that you've worked towards, whether it's going and catching a football, or during the game, that unbelievable catch, or whether it's getting your driver's license. Whenever we think about those milestones that we have worked with, it is, it was really exciting having that moment. When I went to chiropractic college, I spent, those years just almost every day thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can make it through. I don't know if my brain is young enough for this. I gave all kinds of reasons why I couldn't do it. And yet each day, each quarter, by the end of the quarter, I had decided, that's it, I'm quitting. I can't do this. I won't do this. I'm not able. And yet, I'd have a week or so off, and then I'd get the list of the new courses, and then I go, okay, I'll try until the withdrawal deadline. And then I'd reach that point and I'd go, well, let me see if I can give it another quarter. And it was hard. And sometimes it was tremendously discouraging. And then one quarter at a time, one class at a time, one exam at a time, one patient at a time. One day I found myself standing on a stage in a beautiful dress a friend made for me, hearing my name called, and being handed a diploma that said Doctor of Chiropractic. And that moment was so amazing. And it was just, it's hard to put into words what that moment meant to me. Looking out in the audience and seeing my husband and my sons and my family and my friends and, people I had treated, and all those people who were there to just share in that moment with me. And it was really exciting, and it was really so cool. And yet, after a while, when I thought about it, I think about that night, but I also think more about the journey that I was on. I think, man, if I had known then what I knew now, if I had believed that whole time that I would achieve what I wanted to achieve, then I think I would have enjoyed it more. I think I would have gotten more out of it. I mean, who among us doesn't think back to when they were in high school. It's like, man, you know, if I had known then what I knew now, I would have, you know, had more fun. I would have gone after those big scholarships. I would have done all these things differently. But at the time, we didn't know. We didn't know to do it differently. And the only way we know that we would have done it differently is because we did it the way we did it. So the idea of appreciating what is the really big part, the most educational part, the part that really holds the gifts, is that journey, is that struggle, is the process. That's where we really got everything out of it. It wasn't, you know, the final moment, which, while it's amazing, really doesn't last that long. And it's important to consider that when you take a look at the things that you want, and the things that mean the most to you were the stuff that you had to fight the hardest for, the things that are the most powerful experiences of your life, are the ones that you had to put your heart and soul and mind and spirit and maybe faith. Because there's a place sometimes we go where it's like, no, I'm not doing it. I can't. And for some reason, we're able to muster up the energy or muster up the will to keep on going. So this is about the journey. This is about, yes, as Kaina says, the same way you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Yeah, and some of those bites are pretty tough to swallow. Disappointment, setbacks, when the audio goes out, when things don't happen the way you hoped, when it's not as easy as you thought it would be or as you think it should be. Sometimes the pieces just don't fit together, and it's okay, because when the pieces don't fit together, that's when we have a chance to look deeply into it. When we really look at, okay, what does this really mean to me? What does this setback mean to me? Does it mean that I'm telling myself I can't do this? Does it mean that I'm saying that, well, you know, when I was going through chiropractic college and, you know, I was taking care of my mother who was sick. She had cancer. I was helping, you know, I was the main caregiver in my household, taking care of my husband, his mom, my sons, my sister's children, who she passed away from cancer, you know, earlier on. And I felt I had a lot of people that I had to take care of. And I was a full-time student. And it reached a point where I couldn't be a full-time student. I wanted to graduate with the class that I started with. And it reached a point where it was either I go part-time and give myself a little bit of a breather, or I quit entirely. And that was tipping back and forth. I had to take a look at what was my attachment to graduating with my group. And aside from friendships, it was ego. It was, no, I can do this. I can do everything. And I couldn't. And when you reach that place where you realize you can't do it all, or at least you can't do it all at once, it makes it a lot easier to bear, and it makes it a lot easier to deal with when you let yourself off the hook and say, you know what, I think I can do part of it. I can do this much at a time. I can be able to embrace the fact that this journey is going to be a little bit longer and a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. I don't have to take the journey all at once. Sometimes it's not a sprint. Sometimes it's a marathon. And sometimes it's a really, really long marathon. Sometimes it's a journey that you're going to end up having to stop and take a few breaks on. You know, I mean, if it's your dream, it's your dream. It's whatever you want it to be. It's however you want it to be. And it's also about figuring out exactly what you can do. There is nothing wrong with pushing yourself. And I think that pushing yourself is awesome and amazing. And when you can do it, that's a wonderful thing. You also need to listen that, okay, maybe I need to step back and regroup. Maybe I need to take a break from it. Maybe I need to follow this other path for a little bit and then come back to where I want to be. Because it's your journey. You can take it however fast or however slow you want. The thing is, if you're really attached to, oh, I got to cross the finish line in so much time. I have to lose 40 pounds by summer. I have to make $1 million by the end of the year. Whatever it is that you want, go for it. And don't set yourself up for failure by setting unrealistic deadlines and trying to lock yourself into them. Well, if I have to lose, if I want to lose 40 pounds in 3 months, if by the first 2 weeks I haven't lost 10 pounds, I'm quitting. And it's very easy to get disheartened. It's very easy to get discouraged. Maybe you've got folks saying, well, maybe you bit off more than you can chew. Well, then that just means you have to chew more slowly. Take smaller bites. Maybe bite off a piece and put it back and say, okay, I'll finish chewing that later. So the idea that you can make the journey either tremendously arduous and nothing but grief and grinding the whole time, which, there's some journeys that's the nature. And you can also make a choice to take that journey a little bit more easily. Incorporate the ability to notice how wonderful what you're doing is. I was once told a long time ago, well, you don't have to do this work. This was when I first started spiritual work. You don't have to do it, you get to. And that became very important to me. And when I would get burdened down and when it would bear down on me, I would remind myself of that. I don't have to do this. I get to. So when you look at what it is that you want to achieve, what is your dream? What is your goal? What is that place that you want to get to in your life? It really doesn't matter what. Just realize that the most special, amazing part of it is not crossing the finish line. That's not what you'll tell stories about. You tell stories about the journey. You tell stories about how hard it was to get there or how easy it was to get there, about the things you learned along the way that changed you into the person that you became at the end of that race. And that's the thing about races and goals and dreams. Achieving it is amazing and wonderful. And you've got another one right behind it. And you've got another process. Once you finish that, it's, well-deserved pat on the backs, well-deserved celebration, maybe a little bit of a break. And then it's the next part of it, the next process, the mountain behind that mountain. And what is that mountain going to mean to you? It's another goal, and it's another opportunity for you to be able to say, okay, let's start from square one. And I'm gonna scale that. And I know there's going to be another mountain behind it, because there always is. Each dream is followed by another dream, because that's what opens the door to being able to dream bigger. You can choose to, I chose to become a massage therapist because I enjoyed giving massages and I thought it would be a great career for me. And I worked really hard and I became a massage therapist. And one of the instructors was a student he was an intern actually, at Palmer College of Chiropractic West, where I ended up going to school. And he said, wow, you would make a great chiropractor. And my first thought was, I just became a massage therapist. I'm not, no, I can't be a doctor. That takes a whole lot of stuff that I don't have. And yet those words planted a seed inside of me that ended up growing into my next mountain. And I enjoyed being a massage therapist, but then after a while it was, wow, maybe I could be a chiropractor. And that was huge. That was a big decision to make. And I haven't regretted it for a single second. And whatever it is that you want to dream, whatever it is that you want to go through, I mean, yes, we're going through some very weird times right now. And wherever you are on that spectrum of either happiness or concern, you know, wherever you're at, I'm happy for you if you're happy there. And if you're feeling some insecurity, and there's a lot of insecurity and uncertainty, one of the things that you can do to combat that, one of the ways that you can deal with that is, rather than focus on what it is that you don't want or what it is you're concerned about, take that energy and put it into something. You know what? I have always wanted to learn French. And if you want to learn French, which at some point I would like to, it's not about being able to speak French. It's about, you know, taking a class and meeting new friends who help you practice, going to some, you know, French films so you can listen to the language, listening to French music, going to French restaurants. See, ultimately the goal is to speak French, which you will. And the really cool part is all the stuff you do to get there. And as long as you enjoy it, that's where the beauty of it is. When you take that first step on your journey, you're already there. You've reached your destination. Everything that follows that first step is experiencing levels of the destination. Becoming it, embodying it, experiencing it. That's where the fun is. And that's where the work is. If things are tough for you, and if they are, I'm really, really sorry. I'm, you know, my heart goes out to you if you're going through a tough time right now. And know that, you know, I wish you the best, and I hope that everything is okay for you. And if it's not okay, you know that there are people around you who care. I care. I don't even know you, and I care. So what is it that you want to do? What is it that calls to your heart? What is it that when you think of doing it, all of the noise stops and you're just in that warm, happy place, just thinking about doing it? Maybe it's learning to swim. Maybe it's taking up horseback riding. Maybe it's visiting a country or a place that you've always wanted to see. Maybe you want to stand on the edge of the meteor crater in Arizona, or maybe you want to go to see the Grand Canyon. Maybe you've always wanted to see the Empire State Building. Or maybe you've just always wanted to sit quietly next to the beach or next to a stream in the woods. Whatever it is that you want to do, decide it and then create the journey that'll get you there. And incorporate some fun into it. Incorporate some joy into it, because that is what the journey is about. Reaching the goal is great, but it's what got you there that's important. So, yes, as Michelle noted down, yes, fun is important. And if you're doing something and it doesn't bring you joy, if the prospect of achieving the goal doesn't lead to fun, doesn't lead to something that's going to make you smile, maybe you should reconsider whether or not that's where you want to put your energy. I mean, yes, there's some things that you can put your energy into something that, you know, that is kind of on the serious side. Maybe you're highly concerned about global warming, and you really want to be an active part of you know, taking that and making that a better situation. Yeah, that can be very serious. And you can also incorporate joy. You can envision what the world would be like, you know, brought back into balance, and imagine yourself being a part of that restoration, that your connection with the earth and everything in it is so strong and so beautiful that you can put positive thought into it and create change, and you can bring your energy in. So you can bring joy into that too. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to do something, even if it's just because it would make you happy. We can serve each other. We can serve the world. We can be a part of so much. And you got to take time to find joy. Because, well, like I said, you know, if things get really weird, it's going to be those joyful moments that help us get through. It's going to be, well, I can't change what's going on in the world, but I can go practice my French lessons or learn to play the bassoon, or you've always wanted to play the piano. When you do that, enjoy it, be in the moment of it, appreciate the journey of it, because that's truly where the joy is. And if you can't figure out something, talk to other people. Think about what makes you happy. Maybe you've always wanted to be artistic, but you never believed you could. You never believed you were talented enough. Or maybe you've always wanted to sing, but the idea of stepping up in front of anybody just terrifies you. Talk to people who do it, and they can guide you. Let their experience show you that, you know what? Nobody was good at it when they started. Nobody, you know, had it all down the first time they tried it. And if people stopped trying the first time that it didn't work, I don't think there'd be much we would have going. Not electricity, not, you know, the health advances that we've gotten. Everything had a learning curve. And you can actually enjoy that learning curve if you can relax and recognize it as just that, a learning curve. And it's going to be fine. You may draw a picture and everybody says, oh, what an amazing tractor, and you were trying to draw a dog. So, okay, your dog looks like a tractor at first. Let it go. Don't ball it up and throw it away. Just go, oh, okay, well, that was first attempt. And there will be many attempts. When you're doing things, don't compare yourself to the people who've been doing it for a long time. Everybody who would want to be a filmmaker, you know, they want to compare themselves to George Lucas and all of that. Well, guess what? They all had their first attempts that messed up. You know, any famous person, you know, who had to go through that period of spending decades to become an overnight success. Let yourself have the time, because this time will go by really quick, and you want to make the most of it. You want to enjoy it as much as possible. Don't rush your process, because it's where the stories are going to come from. It's where the experience is going to come from. It's where the wisdom comes from. Don't worry about not getting it right the first time, because as long as you keep doing it, you're going to get better. Each attempt is going to get better. Each process, each thing you try, each attempt to make sure you got the audio and the video all doing the same thing at the same time. This is, like I said, all of this is going to end up on the blooper reel. And you can't be afraid to fail, because all failing is that the attempt didn't turn out the way you planned. You can always try it again. You can always move forward. You can always go, okay, I figured out why it didn't work, and here's a way that I can correct. Here's a way that I can gain from what I've learned already. Even if you don't succeed, it puts you closer to the point where you will. And once you do, you're going to take all of those experiences, all of those talents, and you're going to start heading up the very next mountain. Because one dream always leads to another. And it's your dream. It's your life. And it's very precious. And we don't know, at what point our particular turnaround on this planet is going to shift into something else, into another state of being. So make the most of it. This is where we learn stuff. And being okay with not getting it right is the best way to bringing joy to the journey. So I want to thank you for joining me. And as I said, right now we are simultaneously broadcasting both on Facebook live streaming and on YouTube live streaming. So if you would like to see this later on, then you can go on YouTube, and when you're there, you can like, comment, share, and subscribe. And the reason that we're really working on gaining subscriptions is that YouTube has something where they give you an opportunity to be able to actually do classes like live stream teleseminars and things like that. And there's some things that I want to be able to go into much deeper levels with a group where it can be more of a direct exchange, where it can be questions and answers and discussion and all of that stuff, so things can really be set to answer those specific questions that you have. So what we're working towards is the limit for YouTube is to have like 1,000 subscribers. So if we can get that, then we have the option open to be able to do the teleseminars. So hit that subscribe button. And if you are watching on Facebook, you can go over to YouTube and you can subscribe to Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. You can join. If you haven't joined this Facebook page, then go ahead and join the Facebook page. And this is how we're building a community. This is how we are going to expand, because I really want to know, you guys, what are the ways that you walk in this world and how do you manage it? Because it'd be really cool to share those. So thank you. And as always, and until next time, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you.